Hi everyone, this is 5th grade Elevate. Today we are on lesson 56, which is around multiplying fractions by whole numbers. So students have worked on this skill already, so I don't want you to spend a chunk of time going through this mini lesson. Students should understand that multiplication is simply repeated addition, right? So in the same way that 5 times 4 is the same thing as 5 groups of 4, that means that my model would show 5 groups with 4 dots inside, 4 cookies inside, you know. And then the repeated addition expression would be 4, right? Because there's 4 in here. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. We should see 4 5 times, giving us a solution of 20. This is the same concept that we carry on to multiplying a whole number by a fraction, right? So if you look at both 5 times 4 and 5 times 1/4. The only thing that is different is that instead of 4, we're working with 1/4, right? We're still multiplying by a whole number. So we should still have, in the beginning, we had 5 groups of 4. Right now, we're having 5 groups of 1/4. So our model is still 5 groups, but we're not going to put 4 cookies or 4 discs inside of each of those groups. We're going to model a fourth, right? 1/4 is shaded in each of those groups. And so the repeated addition expression is 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. And we know that when we add fractions, we keep the denominator the same. So when we are doing 1/4 5 times, we are just adding the numerators. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is 5/4. Okay, and then we're really going to push students today. And I would say that this is probably the learning that you want to make sure students have solidified is we want to make sure that students are changing those fractions that are larger than 1, right? Don't say improper fraction. We want to make sure that students are changing those fractions that are larger than 1 into a mixed number. So we can use number bonds, right? Students should be able to identify that 4/4 are in 5/4, which is the same as 1 whole, and there is a fourth left. So 5/4 or 5 times 1/4 is equivalent to 1 and 1/4. So in this particular lesson, again, you should not have to go through this mini lesson up at the top because students have worked on this skill in their core classroom as well as in intervention in previous weeks. So you will jump into your teacher model, spending time about 6 minutes on questions 1 and 2, paying particular focus to the simplification and the reduction. So in your model, you might want to say, all right, let me see what solution you guys get. Give them about 3 minutes to work on questions 1 and 2. And then say, let's see, or let me remind you how to simplify before jumping into some we do activities. For some harder questions, giving them 10 minutes of partner practice. Notice that I'm using the number bond as conceptual understanding for kiddos. Some students may be able to see it off the top of the head. Some students may be able to use long division for them to convert those fractions that are larger than 1 into mixed numbers. As long as students have a strategy and they're able to get the question right, it is fine. And then they are going to spend the last 9 minutes of class working on question 17 through 20. We want to see, did they get the repeated addition correctly? Did they get the solution? And then were they able to simplify? So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to say students understand repeated addition of multiplying a fraction by a whole number, they understand how to find the solution and they know how to simplify. Or you may be able to say, well, this student is great at repeated addition and finding solutions. However, they are still struggling with simplification. So each question on the exit ticket is a total of 3 points because there are 4 questions. It is 12 total points. And here's your grading scale. I also want to note that the sprint is at the bottom of each of these pages now, or each of these packets now.